Faders of the Lost Art.
All right. Welcome to Faders of the Lost Art. We're in episode number probably 30 something. This is amazing, guys.
Wow.
Hats off to you guys. We made it this far. I don't think we can stop now, but we've been doing amazing work. Been getting a lot of compliments. I've been getting stopped in the streets. Maybe not so
Constantly.
much, but definitely at conventions, etc. And it's been very cool journey to be on with you guys, and I have a lot of fun doing it, and I appreciate you guys very much. So once again, welcome to Faders of the Lost Art. I'm here joined by my amazing co-host Ken Lewis, Dave Pensado, Bob Horn, me myself. I'm Nico Hamui, and it's a pleasure to join you guys here today. We're here to talk about all the latest and greatest in music, mixing, producing, plugins, whatever, stuff that
All that.
happens.
Nice.
And Fareed Kalama, but he's not with us today. So shout out to Fareed.
Legendary Fareed. I was like trying to figure out how do I like. So our missing fader is Fareed Salama. He is at Criteria Studios with one of the top 3 rappers. I'll let you figure out which one. Doing sessions right now. So big shout out to Fareed.
Yeah, he's the only one actually working today. The rest of us slouches are sitting around.
And how you guys doing? What's going on, gang? What's new? What's news? Bob, I saw you had a new plugin, Alkane.
Oh, Alkane. Alkane is great. A few of us might know Derek Heimlich, who used to work in McDSP, and he started his own company called California Dynamic, or Cali Dynamic for short. And they spent probably, it's got to be 4 years now. He's been working on this plugin, and it's 4 things. It's tubes, tape, transformer, and then like a synthetic, not big crusher, but kind of, it's like its own kind of distortion. It's basically distortion, saturation. But the tape is incredible. It's like you just start turning the knob, and let's say you got a snare, like the transient just starts softening, and then eventually you'll reach distortion. But it's the most tape-like tape as far as the reaction. Like when I used to track drums and have analog tape, and I'd put it in repro, well, I got my gain to tape so I could see when the transient got affected, and you push up that fader, and then eventually the transient rounds off. This does the same thing. So from my perspective, I say this is the most tape plugin there is. But the distortions are cool. The transformer is cool. It's just a really good saturation plugin, and it's the new kid on the block, new company. So yeah, shout out to Derek and his partner.
And what's it called again?
Alkane, Alkane, by California Dynamic, spelled with a K, California. Because they're cool.
I'm writing that down. That sounds checkoutable.
Yeah. It's not the cheapest plugin, but they do have a Black Friday sale. It's like $100 off on it or something.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, if you spend 4 years on it, it's probably worth it.
Yeah, they put in time. I remember I've been through probably 5 versions of myself through the beta. So I think it's been 3 to 4 years.
Damn. Well,
There it is.
Nice.
The old.
oh.
And I like how the GUI completely changes on which mode you're in. Tube, tape, transformer. Pretty cool.
Cool beans.
Compact little booger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate a simple interface.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty tight. It's also like easy to overdo, which is cool. So if you need a lot, you got a lot. So that's always good to have.
It's just funny how
more
like I don't know. I'm sure you guys are the same way. Like saturation plugins, each one is its own little thing. Like from Greenhouse, the Decapitator to the Sans Amp, the original Bomb Factory. Like they're all needed because they're all different.
Yeah.
And
It's all characters.
yeah, and then all the new mixed wave amps and pedals that they have, like each one crunches in its own way. Oh
I
yeah,
just
so
tried
you
that Ashdown bass amp on a bass.
yeah.
Like I have a 51 reissue Fender P bass,
Hmm.
and that through the Ashdown sounded fucking amazing. And
Amazing,
then I
right?
put the Ashdown through, or I put I think a Fender Rhodes through it as well, and it was
Mm,
just like super super nice.
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went out and got it immediately. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I decided to go back today a few years and see if I can do any damage, but um, I did some damage with golf balls. I used the white version, and man, show
Yeah.
'em.
Oh, Nico's pulling it up.
Anyway,
Wait. Yeah, we used
What
it
do you
on the
got?
stereo bus yesterday,
yeah, it was
and
beautiful.
So
yeah.
what could you mention your settings?
Oh, yep.
Like maybe not exact, but just by memory. Like
give us the sauce.
Give us
Yeah.
the
So,
sauce.
on the we use the Gulfos Master,
yeah.
uh, and on that we have recover around 4%, tame around 0.1, 0.5 to 0.5%. We
Uh,
have we have the bias on 4.1%, brightness on
Yeah, but
minus one,
we're white here.
yeah, and we got a boost
Let's
1.1
see
dB.
which one.
yeah.
Home.
So subtle. I don't think a lot of people realize subtle is great with that plugin.
Yeah,
Like if you're going 30%, you're doing pretty extreme.
yeah.
So you got to
Yeah,
think a new mindset with Golfos. But
yeah.
yeah, it's a great plugin.
I'll get better at that, guys. By the way.
Anybody mess with the new Curves Equator by Waves?
No.
It's a
No, I
similar
haven't.
like Golfos type thing. Um, it's its own thing, but it searches for resonances and pulls them out dynamically, and but it's a good tonal shaping thing. It's like you get like some complex harmonic thing like a piano, and it's just got all these resonances. Instead of doing a zillion dips on a Pro Q3, you use this Curves Equator, and it just finds them for you. Kind of like Soothe or Golfos, but it's definitely its own thing. And of course, with all Waves plugins, they're $30 or something. Yeah, it's
Is
a
it that?
Pretty
Is
40.
it
rad.
Phil Spicer that I'm thinking of who has a plug-in line? He has something that does something similar that I picked up.
Yeah, I demoed his channel strip, but I know he's got a bunch of plugins.
Yeah, I
Um,
haven't checked many of them out yet, but my guy Brent Colatalo was raving about them.
hmm.
So, so I feel like I need to check them out. Brent says he uses them like crazy.
Oh, okay. I wanted to ask you guys about phase correlation. So I have one of those TC Electronics meters, and I mean you can get phase correlation meter on a number of different ways, but of course it's got the at the bottom the phase, and do you guys worry if your phase ever goes negative? I had this song last night where 99% of the song it was positive, and then when it got to the guitar breakdown, I had two mono spring reverbs panned hard left and right, and it just went negative, and I'm like, do I need to worry about that?
How did it
Hell
sound?
It
no.
sounded great, and
I,
it didn't cancel.
Bob, I love taking two things and make them as wide as you can get, you know,
Yeah,
and it really is fun to have that ability. So like if you're sitting there and you go, man, am I in mono? You know, and then just flip a switch.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah, you
sometimes
know,
oh, sometimes he
uh,
would flip, like on a synth or a pad, he would flip the left and right out of phase so that it just sits outside the speakers.
Oh wow,
Um, and then
yeah.
and then we take a mono compressor, like a send, and we feed in the mono signal on
Where's
that.
that coming from, guys?
What?
What do you mean?
They can see me. Can
But no, I can't see
Oh.
you.
we can see him.
Oh, because you're zoomed in.
they? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we all see him. What's up, Sam?
A lot of times on the take synth pads, something like that, I'll take like the BX Digital with the MSEQ, or any MSEQ will do. And usually I'll sweep the bands to see what the best result is. But I'll just take one band of like the third pad in my mix, or something less important that you won't really hear too well. I'll just take one band and I'll push that way outside of the speakers, and it's a perception thing. You don't even really hear it, but then you take it away and the whole frequency spectrum collapses.
Yeah.
But you're only really pushing one thing out really wide, so it doesn't harm the coherency of your overall mix, but it gives you this kind of floating width that's really nice.
That's amazing, dude. That's sick. I definitely do that a little bit with like top end on strings or something, but that idea, my friend, is a very interesting idea.
I have something.
Yeah, I do that on pianos as well sometimes. And the other thing I do for stereos is if I'm given a lot of pairs of string pads, and whoever the producer has just built the whole section using a whole lot of similar sounds, instead of keeping them all in stereo, I'll take some and I'll pan both sides hard left, take others and I'll pan some hard right, and that will widen out the stereo field really significantly and unclutter the middle. And if I need more of a middle center, then I'll make sure I keep some of the pads centered enough to anchor it, but it really clears out the center and gives you a much wider sense of strings.
Do you use that plugin called Center?
Is that Boz Digital?
No, that's the
Center
Waves.
One by Leapwing Audio.
Center One is the Leapwing one.
Yeah, and then the old Waves Center, which has
I've used that sometimes, but not for
Leapwing is the same thing. It's just their own algorithm.
Yeah, a little bit more modern.
Yeah.
More features.
There's something similar done in a different way. I have a Ozone 11 on my stereo bus, and I'll put the exciter, but put it in MS mode, and I'll go to the side, and I'll make it 4 bands and make the low mid band as warm as it sounds like with the crossover points, and I'll push that up just on the sides. And when all your sounds are just kind of thin, and you're not getting the width you want, sometimes filling in that low mid will give you the width, and then I'll leave the low and the high mid alone, and I'll go to the super highs and crank that up a little bit. So just that warmth, and then the sparkle on top can help me get some width.
Is that a plugin?
The exciter module for Ozone 11.
Wow. I actually really like the tonal rebalance, not the tonal rebalance, but the vocal rebalance module.
Yeah, that shit is bananas.
It's sick. You can do vocals, drums, or bass.
Are you talking RX11, or does Ozone do that as well?
Ozone does it. It's one
it
of the
has a
modules
version
in Ozone 11, and I forget the name of the module, but it's like tonal balance or remaster or something like that. But the module will just take your vocals and just push them forward just a little bit. Sometimes I won't even, I move in like decimals or, half a dB, or like don't even turn it up, just turn the module on. And sometimes that'll just move your vocal forward. Sometimes you don't want it to do a lot of work, but just having it on there will like kind of compress things together, glue things together, or, help your vocal just poke out.
You guys just reminded me of
I just used that on a master.
Yeah, when you don't want to turn up the vocals because it's too much, like, a little bit is too much. It's too much, too little, too much, a little bit. Like
I think I did 0.8 on vocals, and it just made the vocals sit on top of the mix a little bit better.
Right.
Hey, Nico, can you talk a little louder, please? Not much, but a little bit.
Yo, let me see if I turn up my.
You guys reminded me of
what happened to your voice? Your voice was so deep last week and sexy.
Oh,
we're missing that deep, sexy Nico vocal that we got really used to from last week.
Man,
with the glitches, if you could glitch it out every now and then too.
I could. It's
the Matrix effect.
It's this little thing I inhale. No, I'm just kidding.
You guys reminded me of a cheat code I did twice last week. Two different sessions, two different artists, but it was so useful both times. And that's with the stem splitting. I have a website, a little subscription for Moises.ai. And one session I had a snare drum that was way too loud in a stereo loop, and the other session snare drum that was way too ringy and just annoying. Like usually the ring will disappear in the density of the track, but this ring is just screaming. So we went to Moises.ai. We put the drum stereo stem in there, split it into individual drums, and replaced the snare. And then the other session, we just kept all the faders at 0 except turned the snare down 3 dB. And that was such a cheat code, and the sonic quality was perfect. It was amazing.
Yeah, you can't sleep on that AI splitting, dude. Like you know, in tracking sessions, I would like grab beats all the time, or even just to split it. And so I'd either do like mixtapes and just do right on top of somebody else's beat, or like to split it to do a feature on, I didn't have they wanted me to move this vocal around, or move this feature in the first verse versus the second verse. I'm like, this is a 2-track. What do you want? So I would just AI split it and just move the vocal where I had to. If it works, it works.
There was somebody that I saw at AES. I can't remember who makes it, but there was like a new like drum gate that they were able to pull. Like it sounded like the snare was on its own complete track.
Oh, silencer.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Who makes it?
I could tell you in a few seconds.
I was blown away by that. That the drum gating was just bananas.
Yeah.
It's called Silencer.
Yeah, it's best drum gate to date, I think.
Yeah, that I distinctly remember being
to get
pretty impressed.
Caught in your phone cable. Things like that happen.
Real. Let's check it out, guys. Where cymbals go to die.
Can you make them a little bit
Yeah,
bigger?
I'll. This is for me. I'll write it for you.
Wow.
Killing the game. I mean, it looks pretty simple, pretty straightforward.
Very simple.
It's
and it has a setting for ghosting too. To get those little hits. Yeah, to get those little hits in there.
That would be a game changer as well. I'm always chopping those out and preserving them.
Yeah.
What are your guys' top time-saving things that you've been implementing this year, either mixing or just all around in the studio? What are some things, either some of these plugins or what are some things that have been saving you guys time around the studio?
Man, the Sound Radix Auto Align 2 has been pretty crucial for Atmos and for a couple other tracking sessions. Anytime I have a live drum kit come in, I just have it analyze the whole thing and time correct it and start listing.
Over here, we did about probably 80 mixes.
Yeah, something like
that. In 3 months.
Damn, son.
Woo. Yeah, it was fun. Total fun.
That's crazy, Dave.
No, it's not. It's what we do.
It's crazy.
That's a day in the life.
Yeah.
So what are some things that have you been able to streamline anything, or you just been running and gunning, shooting from the hip?
No, I'm lazy. I can get a mix done. Well, it's hard to say. If it's somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, it'll take me maybe 8 hours. If I get somebody that's a pro, I can do it in 3 hours.
Yeah, I've noticed things have definitely been getting better on the way in. People are spending a lot more time. They'll fix it in the mix. I haven't really been running into a ton. Of course, you get people that just don't know, necessarily, but which is cool. Everyone is at their level. But the point is, the people that do know are spending a lot more time getting it, almost trying to take our jobs, which is great. I want all the competition,
Yeah.
and I also want the producer, whoever's involved in the project, to actually really want to get it as far as the human possibly can, as opposed to like, you know, just, oh, somebody else will take care of it,
Yeah,
right? So
I think a lot of independents think that like anything tracked by a major label artist is going to be super high quality with the best gear and the best environment and the best studio. And a lot of times it's just not like that at all.
Mm.
yeah,
So,
somebody
if
just
you're an
mentioned
indie,
on Instagram that, you know, artists are used to like always tracking in A rooms with, C800 or top mics, and then they expect to go on the road and use whatever cheaper mic that they can take on the road and an Apollo, and expect to get like, and expect any random can mix that kind of vocal and get it to sound good. And it's like, no, you actually either have to send it to a good mixer or really figure out your settings on your road rig, because no, it's not going to sound like an A room and an expensive $10,000 mic,
I don't know, man. There's some pretty amazing microphones out there that are a fraction of the cost of, what we had to pay when I was young back in the day for the same quality. I think you can put together a pretty solid traveling vocal rig nowadays for, I don't know, $5 grand maybe.
But
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
the most important thing about all that is that you got to know how to, especially with something like that, you got to know how to use it, right? Um, your
Well,
converters are probably, like I said, like Apollo converters are great, but if you don't necessarily, you might do too hot or too little, or there's kind of like a little sweet spot, right? You kind of got to study your math, as opposed to like the higher end stuff, which if you have higher end stuff, you should be studying it anyways. But the higher end stuff kind of like, not to say it's hard to mess it up, but it sounds pretty good in all ranges.
easier to get it to sound great
Right.
without
Even if you mess it
anything
up.
else.
Yeah.
I'd say something that has made my mixes streamlined time wise is probably starting with the lead vocal and getting that sound like 90-95% first before I get into drums and guitars and all that stuff, because if I
Please,
mix the whole instrumental and then the vocal,
Bob, please, I hate that. I hate that.
why?
The last
You
thing
didn't.
I do is put the music, the
The
vocal on
vocal
it.
in, yeah,
That's what I do last.
because it takes the most time for us.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I'm saying though.
Maybe
If I
you need
if
to
I
do the
do it
Bob method.
if I do it
Right.
first, it doesn't take me the time. I nail the sound, and then when I have the whole mix going, I'm not trying to mold that vocal to fit the track. I mold the track to fit the vocal, which goes a lot faster.
Interesting.
So yeah.
I like
And
that.
the results are about the same, better.
Yeah, I mean it's just less processing on the vocal because I got it there, and then you EQ your hats to match the sibilants, you EQ the mids on your piano or guitar to match the mids on the vocal, rather than have this instrumental mix done and then you're having to sacrifice the vocal tone. So
Right.
it just
And
makes it
smash them
faster.
all together.
I
Yeah.
kind of I kind of do a hybrid between Dave and Bob. Uh, uh, like I'll mix the instrumentation in very fast and just get my rough balances together as fast as I can.
Yeah.
But while I'm doing that, usually the lead vocal is in low but present enough that I can hear it and I can compare it to all of the other sounds in the mix so that I'm conscious of it and I leave mix space for the lead vocal to sit, even though it's too low right now. And then when my
Yeah.
music has really come together nicely and I feel like now it's vocal time, then I
Yeah.
can just put the vocal in and it's a lot less work. And I've already got a really good sense of exactly what I want it to sound like.
Yeah.
Kind of making sure that melody is always like clear. You know what I mean? You're not muffling the melody. So even if it's low and you can still hear it, that means you're kind of already setting yourself up for success. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I do something similar to that. Dave got me to start mixing without soloing. So I like try and figure it out, right? It's like, you go and just make sure everything's kind of like, as you're setting the session up, everything's kind of cool. And then I think I was watching something you were saying, Ken, one day where it's like you just kind of like let it play, and whatever like strikes your ear, you kind of go after that sort of thing.
Yeah, and the other thing about soloing for me is, I will solo an instrument quickly just so that my brain can identify everything about it. And when I unsolo it, it's much easier for my brain and my ears to track that sound around the mix, so that when I'm EQing it in the mix, I understand tonally everything that I'm dealing with, but I don't re-solo it while I'm EQing.
Exactly, yeah, because you're
Yeah.
just doing yourself a disservice by EQing something in
Right.
solo.
It's called mixing,
Right.
not soloing.
I like it. I like it. Something that I've been doing, something similar like that, kind of like sprint mixing, and then kind of bringing my sauce to the table. But another thing that I try sometimes, so I'm kind of like Dave, where I'm just lazy or I'm just forgetful, and I just kind of try different things. I don't really have, like, I used to do the drums down and then the top down. But I was watching something that Josh Goodwin was talking about one day, and he does like kind of like a hybrid, like Ken was saying, where it's like he does like the main music melody, so it'll be like a piano or like whatever the main melody is, and the vocal, just those two elements, just to make sure they kind of like a cappella almost, or a stripped down acoustic or whatever version. He kind of gets that to really play well and sound really good, because that's what he says is the basis of the whole song, and then like Bob said, builds the instrumental around it. So I
Um,
thought that's really cool. Sometimes I try, but sometimes I just forget to. I don't. You can't mix every song the same way. Not every song comes in the same. Not every song is created the same, and even requires the same kind of attention. Not every song needs Melodyne or auto tune. Sometimes
Yeah.
they all do.
I never use Melodyne.
I'm lucky because um, I've been doing this for about 60 years, and if I can't put something where it needs to be, I'll just kill myself.
Well, you're still here, so
Yeah.
you must
Found
be
the
pretty
spot.
good.
No, but I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about. Like you, Kim. When you're working, you in your mind, you're seeing where it needs to go, and then
Absolutely.
if you work a lot, like all of us, it's easy to do.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. And in fact, I usually start my mix just listening to the rough mix from the client 5 or 6 times, just so I can form a vision in my head of where I want to
Right,
take this mix. And it's
right,
just like a compass direction.
right.
It's not an instruction list, it's just a compass
Yeah.
direction. I'm going to go in this direction. And then I just start going in that direction and see what happens and react to the music. And yeah, I'm sure you do the same thing.
Can I show the kids a little trick on Pro Tools? I'll do
Absolutely.
this. The
Sure.
unelegant way of just flipping my phone. Can you see these four reddish pink faders on the left?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have, these are my subgroups before I go to my summing mixer. So I have drums, bass, everything else, music, and then vocals. And I have four trim plugins on the bottom that I activate and deactivate, and they're either on mute or they're like -6 or 4 dB. So what I'll do is if I'm trying to work on the vocal and the drums are all in my ears, I'll just activate this plugin and it knocks the drums down 4 dB just so they're still there. I didn't solo,
Mm.
but they're still
It's like a
it's still
dim,
in my ears. It's just like I've dimmed that one section,
right?
or
It's an
or I
aux
can
dim.
dim,
That's
yeah,
fascinating.
exactly, dim the vocals while I'm working on the drums, but I didn't mute them and I didn't solo the drums.
Bob created the
Genius.
aux dim.
The
The
aux
aux
dim.
dim.
Clever.
That's sick. Pro Tools, take note. We need an aux dim.
That's
Aux
right.
dim.
Bob Horn aux dimmer.
Bob
Nice.
Hope's
Right.
got a nice little
Absolutely.
place where he works. It's really really cool. Really cool.
Wow, thank you. I'll
I
be
love
okay if I
your
don't.
Dutch and Dutches. What are those brown ones next to them?
Those are KSDs. They're mix. They're called mix main or main masters. A500 main masters. It's a new speaker. They're actually
Actually, I've
not
heard of
even.
those.
They're from
Yeah.
Germany. It's a small company. But yeah, they dropped them off. I'm gonna try them out for a few months. But yeah, they're
Is that
pretty
what you want to
special.
get when you want to hurt yourself? Those are
They
sad.
can, but they don't have to.
Well, I'd hope they're detailed at low volume.
But yeah, very much. But the best way to describe them is when I heard them, I was at Playback Studios in Van Nuys, and the thing that just hit me was it felt like I was listening to music and not speakers, and that just kind of blew me away. And loved that. So yeah, but still mix up my Dutches. Those are my number one. Go
Are you
to.
set up for Atmos in that room, Bob?
No, just strictly stereo. Maybe one day. But,
Maybe one day we'll help you out as needed.
yeah.
Absolutely. Is anyone here mixing Atmos on headphones?
Oh,
Or
shut up.
tried to? So Steven Slate on the VSX headphones is coming out with an Atmos setup.
Is that coming out now?
Yep.
He
When is
mentioned
that
that on the
dropping?
show.
Yeah, I remember talking about that.
I don't know, but I figured I'd mention it again in high hopes that it's out.
Yeah, come on, Steven.
Hold on. Okay,
Let's check it out.
I'm sorry. Let's do that again. Okay, let's start over. I'll give you a good one.
VSX.
Okay, go ahead.
All right.
I will say about headphones. During AES, I went to that the Sony Battery Studios and had them do that eardrum scoping
The 360
thing. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck it is. You're basically
unreal.
in a Sony 360 room. They put these like kind of a microphone array inside of your ears, and then they put headphones over them, and you listen to the speakers beforehand and the headphones beforehand, and then they do some calibration, and then you put your headphones back on, and you cannot tell any difference between the speakers and the headphones at all in any way.
Yeah,
It is
bizarre.
mind-blowing. The imaging is just fantastic.
That's special.
But I don't know how that applies to the real world.
Well,
much,
they didn't get theirs done fast enough. I mean, Atmos beat them.
I think so. Basically,
It's
what
like
they're
mini disc versus CD.
They were Betamaxed right away from VHS. Right. Happened again.
Yeah, let's see what happens. Yeah, those
It's
speakers
amazing,
those headphones are insane. It's more the technology, right? The software.
Yeah,
that Sony
but
has.
the thing is, you can mix Sony 360 on headphones with 100% translation. That's the thing, because literally you take the headphones off, you're in the room, put the headphones on, and you don't hear a difference. You feel like you don't have the headphones on when you do. So that's the thing.
Literally sounds. You feel the distance of the speakers. You feel the surround of the speakers, but you're in headphones.
No,
it's mind blowing.
Absolutely insane. So what do we do with our little our code, our USB?
What do you mean?
Like, did you not get a code when you got your ears measured? Did you not get a USB?
I probably did, but I mean,
when you have the software on your own computer, I believe you can pull up that room analysis, and then you can be mixing in that room.
That's pretty intense.
I could see that if I had to deliver a 360 mix.
So that's what I'm saying. So you go around measuring like top Atmos rooms.
You only need one. I went to the Culver City 360 room, and now I have that room at home if I want it. I'm not doing 360 mixes. I don't know who to do them for. I don't know who asked for them, but if I had a client for 360, I have that Culver City mix room in my headphones.
Sick. So you got to bring your headphones.
I just buy the same headphones they did. The Sonys, whatever. I wrote it down, and it'll sound just like I was there that day in their Genelec room.
Right.
Yeah, if Steven Slate can do that shit with an Atmos headphone,
right? That'll be crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think I'm not sure if the experience is immersive or he's coming out with an immersive room. I don't see why it can't happen.
We need to
With
have someone like Alan
Pensado.
Meyerson on the show because he does Atmos and 360 all the time. So
I love,
I
I
don't
love,
know.
I love that man. When I was in
Yeah,
Atlanta, all I thought about was Alan, 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 Alan. And when he came
I,
into my studio for the first time, um, he um, I wanted to impress him, so I took his one of his songs and I just destroyed it.
did it work?
And so uh, I go to the right hand side and I put my stuff in, and it was like heavenly, and he was a good guy, and now we're really extremely close friends. But Alan's a good guy, a real good guy. I used to do his work for him.
His recalls.
Yeah, his recall, and I didn't charge it for anything because I really feel like he's a good person.
You guys were at Enterprise for years together, right? In different rooms.
Yeah, that was at
Larrabee?
Yeah.
Larrabee.
Oh,
That was at
Larrabee.
Larrabee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had at one point in time I had a big room in there. What was it? What did I have?
Studio
Like,
3.
huh?
Studio 3.
Yeah,
You have a 9000 in there?
yeah, yeah.
108 channel?
Yeah, I had 108 board that sorry, but
And it was modded, so like channels 1 to 24 were all E series, and then the next group was G, I believe, and then a K, so he had it mixed up.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
It's in
It seemed like
Glendale now.
Not
it seemed
bad.
like the K EQ had more useful low mids. Like you could actually boost a low mid on a K and it would sound good. Where on all the other EQs you needed to cut the low mids.
I had the AWS 900 Plus for a decade and loved that thing.
Yeah.
The EQs on that were fantastic.
I think
Wow.
those are modeled after the K.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, I asked Manny American after I bought mine and had used it for a while because I knew he had mixed Alicia Keys and a few other things on a 900 Plus, and but his main thing was a 9K or a 9000J, and
Jay was
and he
shit.
says,
The Jay was shit.
yeah, he says off the record, these EQs are better than the J's.
Hmm.
So I was like, okay, I believe it.
Yeah,
So, but the AWS EQs are so quiet and musical,
yeah.
and oh man,
The K's were pretty good for like something like that.
Yeah.
I'm a
I
G
haven't done a
series kind of guy. Not sure
I
about you
haven't
guys.
I haven't done a console mix in like
E
12
series.
years.
My favorite hip hop console was the old SSL E series. Those
6000.
compressors and EQs for hip hop were the sound of New York.
Yeah, the 6000E was the
Oh yeah,
slapper. That's the slapper.
with the
Well,
three
the
buses.
B is
Yeah.
the one that you can really just fuck with. It's no good, but you can fuck with it.
Which one?
The B.
I don't know which one that is.
Oh,
The
Broadcast.
6000B.
uh,
Oh, is that one of the broadcast boards?
yeah.
Was that the one with the 8 buses that you can
Yeah,
really
and
do
like
some?
the little swirl up or something.
That's fun.
Yeah, I've done some interesting stuff on those 8-bus consoles. The AWS had 2 mix buses, which was really nice. We got a little browerized on it occasionally.
Can't forget Paul Wolf's legendary Atmos analog console that he just built.
That just scares me. Like,
Shit looks crazy.
What
yeah.
is
Saw that
going
at
on?
AES. It looked dope as fuck.
Shout out to his patch bay, the Pro Patch.
Yo, the Pro Patch. We talked about it last episode. We'll talk about it again. That
Yeah.
shit is
Everybody
awesome.
needs. If
Everybody
you have
off
gear,
the
you
chain.
need a Pro Patch. Just
Bro, I've had analogs sitting in my rack turned off for ages. I need one of those things bad.
oh my
Yo,
god.
everybody I know that had a flock is literally posting it up for sale.
Yeah, Bane switched from the Flock to the Pro Patch.
Yeah,
The
he
sound is
said-
just like taking 2
Yeah.
XLRs and putting them together. Like there's no sound degradation at all. But the fact that like we were here, we plugged in 3 pieces on the stereo bus. So we had the SSL Fusion, the oven, and then the Bus Plus compressor. And we made this chain, and like literally, it's like, do you want to hear the oven first, or the Fusion first, or do you want the Bus Plus first? And you're just clicking, and that would take you. Each patch would be 30 seconds, you know.
Right.
But here you are, just moving gear in a chain. Imagine doing that with anything, like a vocal chain, or just like swap out this EQ for that EQ. If you had a bunch of EQs in your rack, it's just
Right.
That's
And you
ridiculous.
have to mute the speakers while you swapped.
right,
Getting hot swap.
right,
Dave, we need to get you one of them.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what sounds.
One of what?
Dave,
The
you
new
still
Paul
have
Wolf.
a bunch of outboard?
Yep.
Yeah, he's still dangerous, man.
Yep.
Nice.
I don't think I threw a bunch of it away, but
Yeah.
I still got
But
some.
we
Wait, which dumpster?
the one in Woodland Hills.
Oh, I'm on the way.
But we use the Clariphonic Mog,
Love that.
the TC Electronic Eclipse.
Yo, pause. Yo, shout out to the new Mog EQ4M plugin on Plugin Alliance. Let's
Yup.
fucking go.
Oh,
Man.
I've
what
gotten
a
one.
Yeah,
jam.
you do
Where is it?
in your computer.
I actually got to download it, but I'm just so excited I haven't downloaded it yet. I just had to like relish in the glory, but I'm going to put it on every mix, literally. That's a game changer right there. But yeah, keep going, Sam. The TC Electronics, the Eclipse, that
Yep.
yo, that is
That's
What
fun.
is it? What
a
is the
game
Eclipse?
changer. It's a digital reverb chorus unit from TC Electronics, but an analog.
Oh,
It's pretty
it's
One
like
neat.
a
No.
newer version of like a Rev 4000 or M 3000.
No, it's just like its
It's
own
like
like
20 years
90s.
old.
Yeah, it's like a 90s random. It's not too expensive, but don't tell anyone on this show about it because they're gonna go buy them all up. But I actually really want one. Dave, tell
Oh.
them your favorite preset on there.
I don't know.
It's called the
The-
Mariah.
The Mariah one.
Yeah.
Use it every mix.
I did some stuff for Mariah, and I kept her low end.
No, the top end.
No, that's low end for me. I don't know about you, but yeah, you can go. You can
Yeah.
but her top end is good for me. But yeah,
Good talk.
Yeah, and he used it on "Touch My Body," so the vocal you hear on "Touch My Body" has that on it.
yeah. I got a number one record with "Touch My Body" off of about this much. It was just crazy. It wasn't really. I don't know what it was.
Should we let them know what preset it was, or should we wait till the next episode to tell them? We told them the gear.
Well, somebody comes up and gives me like some stuff, like that looks like real stuff, and I didn't. That's the time that I was throwing everything away. So I don't know. I didn't touch Mariah because I love.
I'm gonna start going through your dumpsters regularly,
Yo,
man.
for real.
You never fucking know in Pensado.
Well, I'm through now. Trust me, I'm through now. Thank you.
What you say now?
You guys
Next
using
month-
that Better Maker limiter?
The what?
Better Maker
the
limiter.
the bus
Oh yeah,
compressor
Like
I
or
would.
the
plug-in
limiter.
controlled analog limiter.
Yeah, you guys use that? I know you had it for a while.
I need the Wolf to get it back into my loop. I'm
There you
dying to
go.
get it back into service,
Which
but I
one is
can't.
it?
The
It doesn't fit in the current
Yeah,
signal
the
flow.
better maker, the guy that runs the company. Please don't
Yeah.
tell anybody this, but he's not good. He's just,
He's great.
you want to shake him by the chest and say, "Look, you're great, you're amazing," and then he vomits in front of you.
And that's only at the end of NAM parties, I'm sure.
No, he's. I tried to get him sober, and I couldn't do it. I
You
couldn't.
know, to
Amazing.
his to his
I mean, he's Polish, of course he drinks.
to his grace, to be honest, I think somebody mentioned something because I've seen him a little bit more sober, more and more sober as we've been, lately in the past, year or so.
Hey, if he keeps making equipment like that, just let him be. You know?
Let him drink like a fish.
I,
But
I,
Ken's not wrong. He is Polish. They do drink a
I've,
lot
he's
of
I've never seen him drunk. I've only seen him around. He seems like he'd be a good guy to drink
yeah.
with.
I
He has a music project
think
that he has done all of these like I don't know if they're art visuals or AI visuals. It's like kind of like a comic book hip hop fantasy opera thing, and he's did it. I encourage you guys to check it out. It is super super
yeah.
dope. He sent it to me, and I was blown away by it.
Yeah. I haven't touched any of his stuff lately. I'll take a look. I'll give him a call.
So check this
Yeah,
out.
he has like members of Wu Tang on it and shit. It's very cool.
Yeah.
This is a cheap $400 device, passive, no power, and it's literally just two Jensen transformers with XLR ins and outs. So all that awesome gear that has that Jensen low end transformer, you can get it for $400 from Analog Prairie. Shout out to those guys. I found it on
Dude,
Reverb. It's literally just two Jensen transformers, nothing else, no knobs, no nothing.
that's kind of like some cloud lifters.
Yeah, same kind of idea. Just put it in line. You can do it on the whole mix, on anything you want to beef up, with low end. It's great.
We brought, speaking of Transformers, we brought out the old True Iron again.
That's
Ah,
dope.
Yeah.
true. I always forget about that.
Kazrog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kazrog,
Kazrog model.
yeah,
Yeah.
Man.
That's
yeah.
right.
Dennis
the,
Powers.
He does
the K
real good
clip
work.
people.
Yeah.
Yep.
Devin
They have a 747. They have a bunch
Devin
of.
Powers is the main guy. He's a good guy to know because he can get it really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Devin
Yeah.
Powers is a very smart guy. Didn't he make a pedal as well?
There's a
I
pedal
know
that's
he's
been
modeling something. I'm not sure if we can talk about it yet, but they just modeled a big compressor with a heavy, heavy mixer, and that's going to be a really interesting box.
Dude,
cool. Cool.
But yeah, Devin's kind of like the king of esoteric analog gear modeling. He's got so much of it laying around. He can just be like, "I'll model that today," and it's like the
Tell
coolest
him I
fucking
said
thing.
hello. Tell him I said hello.
Will do.
we cannot end this show without giving our boy a big shout out. He just dropped a brand new plugin, Jason Joshua with the Orion.
Nice.
Golly,
Check that out.
that
I
thing is
think
crazy.
he got it done right.
It's insane.
Nice.
What does it do?
So it's basically an emulation of his whole drum bus. So he has parallels in there for sub bass. He's got parallels, for the knock, etc. And also, so there it is right there. I'll let you look at it for yourselves.
Nice.
Yeah, let's check it out. Yeah, so it's basically, modular, of course. He's got a couple preamps or, saturation colors here to start with, and then he's got some, I think the harmonic sections where you get your low end, of course. different compression types, and yeah, a little EQ. And I mean, you get the picture. And then the grit, sub,
So
loud, and low, those are his parallels, his drum parallel chains, basically. So you can, mix those into taste. I think it's pretty clever, and it
I'm gonna
sounds
have to check that
phenomenal.
out.
That's
Just like
Frank
Has that?
Duke.
uh,
That's Frank
God
Dukes,
Particle.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's the
Great.
folks at Cradle Audio. He teamed up with Cradle Audio. He's got the God Particle, which is now a staple in the game. Known for, a lot of people getting a little heavy handed, but those who know how to use it know that it's a gem. And we can't forget our boy um, DJ Swivel. DJ Swivel has a new joint,
Hit strip.
Hit Strip, in the game.
Yeah, that shit is crazy. It's like the
So
best
kind of like a
all-in-one.
Pro Q, but mixed with a little bit of Mick DSP vibes and mixed in with, just some very stellar stuff under the hood. Transient shapers, dynamic EQs, whatever, regular EQs, and it sounds pretty good. It's clean, it's to the point, but it's really strong. It's
I've,
like
I've been mastering with that. It's been great.
that's
Hmm.
sick, dude. Yeah, it's really sick. And last but not least, our boy, the legendary, the one and only.
Dun dun
Dun dun
dun.
dun. Can't forget our boy Ken Lewis with Greenhouse. It's an oldie now. Time is passing. It's an oldie but a goodie. How long
Well,
has
we
this been
just
out,
released
Ken?
All Comp. That's the latest greatest. We got All Comp half off for Black Friday at Mixing Night Audio.
Nice.
Yeah,
And
let's
for
show them.
those
I
that
was
don't
I was
know,
trying to build it. I was trying to build it up with this player two,
people
like,
got no attention span, my friend.
you know.
Yeah, All Comp is 5 of my chains put under the hood. Super easy to use, but there's a lot of shit going on underneath, and it's like we call it compression solved. So super easy to use, super musical, half off for Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
Yes.
You
So
guys
for those of you that don't know, this is basically Ken Lewis's entire like
Oh, yeah.
entire mix chain. You have his vocal chain, you have his drum chain, you have his music chain, you have his pizzazz saucy sauce chain. And it says compression solved, but it's a little more than that. You have a little bit of reverb, you have a little bit of just effects in it, even though we just showed you Greenhouse, which is an amazing effects
it is.
suite, has a lot of really cool effects under the hood on that one. But All Comp is sick. I really love this new skin, Ken. I love the old one. It's very
It's a thing.
it makes you work
This is
with your ears and not with your eyes, like we all love to
right.
do. So it like kind of takes you back, but this is like okay, everything's labeled. I know exactly what I'm
Right.
getting
It's
into. Like,
more conventional.
yeah,
And for people that don't know, the drop down is a tilt, a final limiter, a 2-band exciter, 5 different reverb choices, and filters. And it's basically, I've taken 5 of my processes that used to be multiple plugins for each process, and I mapped them out and I modeled them under the hood for each of these. So you kind of find a sound and you dial up some tone to it, and then you can check through the chains and see if anything is really like jumping out as the best one, and then you can fine tune it below. And super fast, super creative. You don't have to know anything about mixing to use it, which is built by design. But it's powerful enough for me to use on most of my mixes.
Yeah.
Well, all of my mixes, but like half the plugins on any given mix is nowadays is all comp. So
that's
Nice.
so sick, dude. I love it. I love when like we're like, oh, AI is gonna take over, and then we build it. No, I'm
yeah, I
just
figured.
kidding. But in all
But
seriousness, like that's the point. We're beating them to the punch. It's like we have the technology, let's use it for ourselves to get better, faster, stronger, as opposed to like sitting around in fear like, oh my gosh, the world is gonna end. Like that's definitely not the attitude we need to have.
Where you been living, man?
Right.
I think the Miami shit is not. doing you good.
I've been inside. I need to get out more, man.
You're in the FADERS circle. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay, Nico. Everybody else might burn.
Well,
But
I'm talking about the folks out there that are like scared that AI is going to take their job or this or that and blah blah blah. It's like, well, you can.
I'm teasing you, Nico. I'm
No,
teasing.
of course. I'm here for all the folks out there that Not we're not talking about McDonald's jobs. Those are definitely gone.
Let's all of us jump on Bob.
Bob, you got new speakers. We gotta come initiate you into the new speaker gang.
Yeah. Yep.
Love it. Well, let's take this time to wrap up, guys. It's been an amazing, amazing show. You guys have been nothing less than stellar, bringing the heat. We've talked about probably more plugins this show than last show, and I started trying to talk about something else, and we ended up just spilling the sauce as we always do. Thank you guys very much for bringing the heat.
We got a few technical how-to nuggets in there, though. So that was
we
good.
did. Yeah, we got to start doing more of those.
We should push for that more each episode.
Yeah, we definitely we'll get more organized. I guess we'll start opening up the request line here soon.
Yeah, we got to start getting a user viewer questions and then answering viewer questions live.
Yeah, that's a great point. I want to start going live on YouTube and do all that fun stuff. As soon as all
first
of us
request is going to be for Bob to stop dropping his phone 4 times an episode.
And then and Nico to stop dropping the F-bomb so much. And then we'll be ready to go live. But no, in all seriousness, probably in the next show or two, I'm just gonna hit the live button and we're not gonna know. But I'll give you a little hint and be like, hey guys, we're live. Watch what you're saying. So we'll figure it out.
Don't forget to share, comment, like, and subscribe. And see you next time on Faders of the Lost Art.